It is very real. And when people say to you that we are on the verge of losing a generation, don't think that they're kidding about it. Do not think that they're kidding. So first we have to recognize that there is an issue. Then we need to talk about what can we do. The caring part, you understand, you feel it. You got to do it. Anytime you see a young person, these are very practical things, and we'll talk about some of the other things we can do too. But when you see a young person, being able to encourage that young person doesn't mean that that person is your biological child. When I say our children, I mean our children as a community, our children. So when you see a young child and that child's head is down, you need to encourage them to get it lifted up first of all, so that they can look out and see what is available to them. Encourage them. You can be walking down the street and you see, and it depends upon your comfort level now, where you are. They know in my courtroom, I understand trends. I have a son. He has a mom too. So I understand trends. And when they come into my courtroom, their pants are not down. You walk through the door of my courtroom, your pants are up, your belt is around your waist, and you have a natural waist to get them to understand that. Because they are handsome, they are beautiful people, and getting them to understand they are both handsome, beautiful, and bright, and what the possibilities are. So you see those young people walking around, encourage them. You would be shocked to realize that for some of them, that may be the first positive comment that they've heard ever. Ever. So be intentional about that, encouraging our young people. Make yourself, now this is a big piece, because we can talk about all of those simple things, but now I'm talking about your investment of it. All of you have different experiences, whether that means your careers, what you're doing, it may mean you're working in the community. Anybody here that doesn't have life experiences? All right. We need to share those with our young people. Some of the lessons, the best lessons that I had was being able to sit by my grandmother, right at her knee, and hear her tell me about what it was like growing up, what her experiences were, where the possibilities were. And we need to talk to our young people about the richness of their history, the richness of it. We hear all of the other things, but we need to talk about the richness of the value coming from kings and queens. And when you understand that you come from royalty, can you imagine that that gives you the kind of self-esteem, self-confidence? Talk to our young people. Take the opportunity, and this is where you push yourself out. Two things I want you to do, and this is your promise part of it. Two things, all of these little practical, simple things, do those. But I want you to find an opportunity with the young person to open up their eyes to what's available to them. If you're doing community work, I've got different folks in the community I'll send young people to, because I want them to understand that they are not only beneficiaries of the community, they need to be contributors. So they went to different events in the community and they did community service there, because I wanted them to see how they fit into everything that was happening. So find an opportunity to get a young person engaged. Doesn't have to be, if you've got a child, they've got some friends, and you know when your children have friends who don't have the same level of support. Get them out there. The other part, and this part may be something that is a little uncomfortable because there are some other roles we can do it, you need to make sure that you encourage somebody else to do the same thing. Now it's easy for us to be able to say, I'm going to go do this. And I'll take responsibility for that. But I'm not as comfortable necessarily saying, well, why don't you come with me and help me do that? But why not? Why not tap your friend on the shoulder and saying, I'm doing this. Let's grab up some kids and bring them out there and let them see that. Why not? Because we have a portion of the community who would be very easy to say, you do it. You take responsibility for it. So we've got to say, no, we do it. Because remember I said, we're going to be impacted one way or the other. We choose how we do it. This should go beyond whether our gender, male, female. It should go beyond our religious belief, because it's all about still our children, isn't it? What can we pour into it? It should go beyond whatever feeling I may have for this other community or this other group and the silos. You got to tear down the silos It's not about, when Ms. Woods asked me about being here, and I looked at that sheet that she had down there about the bio, and I had to look again and say, is that really me? I was asking, it's not about me. It's not about me. When I get there, and I have a young person that comes back to me and they say to me, thank you, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And when we see our young people, you've got a responsibility too. When we have young people like this young man come in with us and get to hear it, whether you get encouraged by your parents to be here or not, you're still here. That's an important part. But you have credibility. He can say to another young man, come go with me, or make this decision. This is a better choice than the other choice. They're going to listen to him much more than hear me and what I'm doing. This is what they see. So you've got a responsibility, because we want to see our young men and young women heading on off to all of their possibilities, whether that's college or other non-traditional courses, but moving forward and taking another one with them and continuing forward. Because the other disappointing part is when we see them make that step. We've worked hard, you've pushed them, they get to college, and then they drop out. That's a frightening situation. We've got to change that tide. So, as I started out with, you know the plight. I don't need to talk to you about the issue. You know that faulty premise that we had going. So we don't accept that, do we? No, we don't accept it. And then we have the possibilities. And I want you to remember that I started out talking about plural possibilities, because we've got some amazingly gifted and talented young people. You know, when you pull out your cell phone, I still struggle to try to get inserted somebody's new contact information. 2 seconds later, they've done it. So these are incredibly bright. So much to offer. But what is frustrating is not seeing them do that. Partly them, mostly us. So we've got to change that. Possibilities. The plural of that. And then the promise. And that's what you've done here. Because I promise, just like I told Ms. Woods, anytime I have an opportunity to be able to share that and to try to make a difference, I'm going to do it. Because it was done for me. And that's the least I can do. Because remember, to whom much is given, much is required. Much. They didn't say to whom much is given, give back a little bit, give back some. It was the much. Much is required. Last night at the banquet, I'll close with this story. Had a young person come into the courtroom, real serious matter involved. Circumstances changed such that he was able to go forward. We were able to do some different things for him so he could start out on the right foot. Had his mom come up to me. And you know, I have so many folks coming through the courtroom. Now, I usually can remember my young people. I may not remember immediately the face of the parent, because I'm focused, my connection is with this young person. But she came up to me and she said, I just wanted to thank you. And even when I tell you that, you can hear the emotion in my voice, because what is said to me is this is another young person that we will not lose. We will not lose. We cannot lose another one. I've seen and had to go to some funerals. I've seen and had to deal with some incarcerations. We got to do something differently. And if that means I got to come out and harass you, I'm going to do that, because it's just that important. Just think about it, and that's how I'll close. This is our future. They are our future. We've got to decide what we're going to do to ensure the best future possible. Thank you.